Hey everybody, Pastor Taylor just here. Some of my best times to think and to read is when I'm doing work. There's really nobody around. This is cleaning a pool and doing grass and that kind of stuff. It's things that you usually do alone. And sometimes it can be lonely. But a lot of times for me, my best time of thinking and prayer and discernment is when I'm doing things like yard work and cleaning a pool. And I think a lot of times our small groups, like we're doing the gospel project right now, those are great things. But I think a lot of times we need better understanding, and that understanding comes only from the knowledge of Jesus Christ, and that comes ultimately from personal time spent in prayer and walking with God in our daily lives. See, church, you can easily go to a small group once every other week. You can be involved in those things. But the thing is that if you want true growth in your life, in your faith, and you want to take a jump and dive deep into the deep end, you have to walk with God on a day-to-day personal basis. You have to be in the Word. You have to be in personal prayer and times in relationship with God. Again, my time in my office is great, and I love that. But the moments where I have to come out and clean a pool or to mow grass, those are my intimate moments. Because it's me, it's God, and His creation. And I have nothing more to focus on than who God is in my life. And we'll take a little break. Just don't tell my wife. One of the reasons why I love doing yard work and like cutting the grass and cleaning the pool, it's not because I have to, but God reveals things in those moments. Again, those are some of my most intimate moments with God. It's not necessarily in an office, and it's not necessarily when I'm reading His Word. Yeah, I have great, incredible moments with God in those times. But a lot of times it's when I'm out in His creation, when I'm cutting the grass, or I'm cleaning the pool, that God reveals things. See, God takes scriptures that may be hard to understand sometimes, and uses other people and other things to reveal them and make them relevant to you and I each and every day. For instance, this week we did the Gospel Project in week 3. We discussed something very important. Again, we're talking about atonement over the next several weeks, and it's this great thing that we're speaking of atonement as we approach Easter season. And and I was thinking this week as I was reading the scriptures and the 3 main principles in this study this week, our lives is a lot like a pool. We have to clean it, but it technically cleans itself. It sucks the dirt out. It does the basic foundational things. But the real question is it safe? If we were to do nothing to a pool, let it suck out the dirt and do its thing, yeah, it may be clean with no dirt in it, but is it really safe to swim in? Is it secure? Would you let your kids go in? Well, the answer is simply no. If I did nothing to this pool, I would not allow my son Bentley to jump in. I wouldn't let my dog jump in because it's not safe. We have to do something as homeowners and pool owners to make that pool safe. It can't do it itself. Do you get where I'm going with that, church? We can't do it ourselves either. We can do our best and do simple things in everyday life to guard our hearts, but ultimately when we need a cleansing and a purification, it takes someone else doing something else for us. Do you get it? Let's take a look at week 3, just a quick review. Principle number 1 this week was so great. We talked about God's judgment coming to all. And we looked at Exodus chapter 12, and it talks about how the coming wrath of God will come, that God will judge those, and only the righteous will live, and the unrighteous will be taken away into condemnation. Because He is God, and that is His responsibility, that is His ability. But it goes on to say that the righteous will live. And it says that the blood in verse 13 shall be a sign. It'll be a sign for you, a sign for the safe house. And then it went on to talk about principle number 2, which rolls right out of 1, that said we need atonement to protect us from the judgment of God. And in Exodus chapter 12 again, and in verse 3, we saw something very interesting. It talks about the blood of the lamb. And now, not necessarily a lamb of God, but we'll get to that in just a moment. But it was physically talking about a lamb, and that each household had a lamb at a certain time that had to be representing the household that it came from. And that the blood of that lamb would be painted on the outside of the house. And when the wrath and the judgment of God came, that house would be known as a safe house because of the blood that was represented on the outside of that house, on the wall. Do you get it, church? That's what Jesus did for us. Jesus was and Jesus is the Lamb of God. And it was His blood and His blood alone that is a sign that protects us from the judgment of God. Yes, we fear God. We fear His ability, fear His power. But we are safe because of the blood of the Lamb if we've accepted it and if we have painted it on our lives through acceptance of Jesus Christ. And then principle number 3 this week was the coming Messiah will redeem us with His blood. And we looked at a very famed verse in Ephesians chapter 1. And it said, in Him we have redemption through His blood, the forgiveness of our trespasses. Church, it's through His blood. You know, just like the blood of Christ cleanses us, the pool takes something more than itself to be pure and to be clean and to be safe. You have to come out here every so many days and put liquid chlorine in the pool, and of course I have to use the floater and put some chlorine tablets in it. And it's because of this little thing that I have to put in that this pool becomes safe to swim in. And it becomes safe to occupy. And without that, ultimately swimming in this pool could result in death because of bacteria and of harmful things that grow within bacteria. Our lives are just like this pool. Without the help of something else, without a certain and specific element, it's no longer safe and ultimately results in death. But there's offered something else. God has offered us a solution to a big problem. God has allowed us and offered us a solution to be safe, and instead of resulting in death, results in life. So today I want to ask you a question. Would people know? Do you have the blood of the Lamb written on your front door? I'm not asking you to spray paint your house, but I am asking, would people know by your actions and the way you speak and the way you carry yourself? Have you truly been transformed? Have you truly been made secure and have full confidence in the blood of the Lamb? Think about that this week, and we'll see you Sunday.